computer. There we go. So when we are in any of these videos, content presentations, what I'm looking for is actually YouTube Studio. So what I thought I'd do today, because I've been thinking about you all day, is have a look and see, because you can check these out by the views look. So this one is optimized. That one is something actually to do with Reiki, I think. Content presentations, house show. Okay, so do you know SEO basics?
I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So if we see Google Search Console data, and in that, in the keywords that are coming through, the majority of, let's just say the top 10, or all the top 10, which I've seen, are your brand name. That's not good SEO. Simply because the point of SEO is to bring people to your website that don't know your brand name. So having your brand name is actually quite irrelevant. You don't want that. So let's have a look and see if we can edit all of this here. So the first thing that they're doing wrong is that they are not linking to any of their internal pages here. And again, because Google owns YouTube, if you have a link at the very top, even if it's just the home page, normally I'd link into a deep internal page, especially if it's a blog post. So I'll add the link at the top, but above the top link, I'd add 3 or 4 hashtags. So I know that these are events. Oh, event management, that looks good. So you get these auto suggests. Event, let's try company. Coordination, that'll do. And let's try events UK. See if we get event, yeah, event supplier. So they're the 3. In rivaled history, you can correct the little grammar bits there. Contact presentations, I've delivered them all. Let's see if I've got the phone number. So I'll add the phone number in there. And I'll put that at the top. So if people don't bother to expand the description, it will be towards the top. Now then, Google also have in Search Console, this is Comtech actually, this is the same client. They suffered a website hack and all of their content was stolen. And so it's been my job to recover. So I started around here. So this is why you got the decline and then brought me on board. But here's the queries. Look, as I said, this is a brand name. That's actually the owner. Event Production Manchester. That we've had 1 click. Look at that, Anne.
Yeah.
That's really good because they weren't getting any clicks at all. So they do event production around the UK, but they're based in Manchester. So it would be better for me to have these. So this is good to see these organic keywords coming in. But with the video pages, you can see here where I've been adding videos. And these are the ones that are indexed. And these grey areas here are the old videos that don't have, that fail the indexing. And
yeah.
that's
Why is that? I've been seeing that a lot.
And it's down to the thumbnail. So all we have to do is to add a thumbnail. So these are called contact. Let's have a look at some images and we'll do that one. And also add a playlist, and I've made a new playlist, which is keyword rich, live event management UK. No, it's not made for kids. And again, all of these is thing. And then what's really important is the show more here. Let me just hide the beating controls. And then you can see here some of the tags, exhibitions, awards, ceremonies. You've got only 101 out of 500. So I don't know how you keep records of clients, but I'm a cheap ass and I use Google Drive.
I'm very lucky. I don't have clients, so.
So I make a note on the spreadsheet so I can copy and paste these, because I find that sometimes video SEO. Here we go, look, tags. So I can Control A, Control C, go back. Video language I know is going to be United Kingdom. Title again, if we get title, recording, and set your recording date, whatever. Video location. Now, video location is important. That you are, if you're optimizing with somebody else, you can find them on Google Maps.
Okay.
Contact presentations. Don't allow remixing, so don't allow people to take your content. And then here with the tags, remember I've got them copied. Control and V. So we've gone over there, but these are like kind of like single, like awards is pretty, award ceremonies. It's not really indicative of what we're looking for. Live event marketing, that's pretty good. We'll take off that one and we'll take off creative. Got 9, just one more. Let's that one. There we go. So we've gone blue now. All of that business, travel and events, and then save it up. So the other thing I didn't do.
So if I can just go back, just a very quick question. You mentioned that the issues with indexing the videos were lack of thumbnails.
Yeah.
Is this something that is happening in YouTube, or are you doing also something in the embedding on the site itself?
It's within YouTube. So Google does visit the videos that you have embedded on the website. And if obviously that account must, which is why I asked about your Google login yesterday, is that you should have the same login for YouTube as you should do for Google Analytics, Search Console, any other Google related products. So it's just the circle of life. So what I'm going to do here is just do live events management. Yep. London, UK, nationwide. So all the least important keywords, like your brand name and the identifier of the video, go at the end. It's always your most important keywords first. And that applies to any of your on-page title tags and also your H1 headers if you are doing on-page optimization. And because Google and YouTube are interlinked, they rank the same manner with the same, more or less a similar algorithm. So once we've got that saved. And I know now that this is going to be ready for me to embed into any of the pages in the future and successfully get that video indexed. Okay. So if you'd like, would you mind awfully if I could take you through?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So, but let me, maybe I should give you like an overview of the project
Yeah,
and
sure.
explain why I was so hesitant, because this isn't really, I would say, well, it's going to be, I'm going to get help from our team, but it's really going to be more of my own project where I want to start a YouTube channel about AI.
Yeah.
And I want it to be like, I see this gap right now where some people really, I mean, myself, I use AI every day, all day long, all types of AIs. I live with ChatGPT. I talk to ChatGPT over voice, during my breaks. I use Midjourney. I use Claude. I use, like, you just give me an AI, let me play with it. But for some mysterious reason, most people are not adopting AI so much. Like, I talk to people all the time and nobody, like, everybody has heard of it, but nobody actually uses it. So I wanted to create this kind of YouTube channel that sort of will try to bridge that gap. And right now you have YouTube channels out there that talk about AI. I mean, there's no shortage of that, but they are usually people who are more tech oriented, and their audience is people who are tech oriented. And I want to create something that will sort of, the audience will be just people curious about AI, but not necessarily, they don't know much about it yet. So I've had this idea for a few months now. And as you can see, it has gone very far just because I'm so busy with other projects.
Yeah.
Um, but now that ChatGPT has a voice, I was like, okay, I really need to push forward because I sort of want to interview ChatGPT on the channel. And I don't have a domain name or a blog installed yet or anything like that. And the reason I thought I would go with the YouTube channel is because I figured it may be faster to just record the session
Yeah.
and then have one of our VAs like edit it and whatever and like work with that. I don't know. This is going to be like a pet project for me, something that if it'll ever take off, then yeah, sure, I'd love to monetize. That's what I do. But I am thinking first on just, let's get this show on the road and let's just see what the reception is like. So I am not sure. That's why I was really hesitating, because I'm not sure it's optimization stage yet. I just want to see sort of like what is, and I have very, very little experience with YouTube. I know sites really well. I know Google very well. I can optimize for Google. I can optimize. Right now, what we're working on mostly is trying to break through successfully so far, but break through Facebook. So we're getting a lot of traffic from Facebook, a lot of traffic from Pinterest. And we're still getting a decent chunk of traffic from Google, and we also have mailing lists. So I'm happy to say that we're getting to be quite diversified. But YouTube, no, because I do have a couple of channels that we started years ago for some sites, but they're not being utilized because I sort of feel like YouTube SEO is more. It's something that I'm sure you need to know what you're doing. Like, it's not that.
I don't think so.
No?
Really don't think so. The
Okay.
recording that I've just taken, would you say that was more than 3 minutes? Would you say just a couple of minutes?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Thereabouts.
There really isn't anything else apart from that.
Really. So just
going back,
record and upload.
I'm just interrupting myself. Going back to the image explanation about renaming the image on your hard drive before you upload it. If you record yourself or we record this, when it's downloaded onto my hard drive, I will rename it. So it could be SEO Freelancer UK, which is my target phrase, or it could just be you and your brand name, or if it's unlisted, it doesn't matter. I could call it bullshit if I wanted it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. But have that file saved with whatever keywords that you are targeting before you upload. But just follow the strategy. It literally is just title, description, tags, don't remix, set your dates, tag it where it is, publish. There's no fancy pants to it.
Okay. So like, no, I was thinking things like people say that they are working on very sophisticated thumbnails for the video or, cover images, things like that.
As long as it's a unique image. At the minute, the contact client, they haven't got any time to create any thumbnails. The ones with the cutouts work really well. Like the image I got of you would work really well. And A/B testing has proven that the human element of a human cutout, giving it the whole, this is what we're talking about today, a very visual impact, works really well to get people to actually click on the video in the first place if it's in the YouTube results. So
okay. I wasn't sure if I want to have like a faceless channel, or it's like I told you, I'm very self-conscious about my accent and my English. So I'm like, okay, should I, shouldn't I? I don't know. I'm sort of torn with that.
Well, the other thing is that there are ChatGPT plugins, and you say you're married to ChatGPT, where you can have the transcript automatically generated. And on back of that, you can also have the captions. So I've only just learned about an internet guy called Mr. Beast. Do you know Mr. Beast?
Yeah, sure.
Right, okay.
Probably the most successful YouTuber.
And I discovered why a couple of weeks ago. Each one of his videos, he has got you or me talking about something. And then YouTube as a platform allows for, how can I say, translating it into different languages. And there's 18 available, 1-8 at the minute. So Mr. Beast releases one in American, and I don't think he bothers with the British accent, but then he's got 17 other languages. So each of these one videos automatically outputs 18 different videos. So this has increased his YouTube. I mean, he was the first person, I think, to hit, I'm not sure if it was 1 billion. I could be making this up, but
it's a crazy number.
Yeah, he's reached some milestone. And the way he did it was that he knew that YouTube released this feature last summer in 2022, and he leapt on it, and his marketing team looked at all the documentation through YouTube. They did their own testing, they did all of that, and then they just went for the blanket release, and his videos just went in terms of views and engagements. So would
that be worldwide? Because usually not only do we not bother targeting audiences outside the US, but if it's outside US and Europe, we like sometimes deliberately will avoid those because of the effect on RPM with the ad networks.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a consideration because you're at the open stage at the minute where you've got lots of information to take on board and think, well, what is the best direction? I mean, ultimately, would you say that your ultimate goal is monetization?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
If it takes off, for sure, yeah.
So you don't necessarily need a website for that because you're creating more work for yourself. It's just another bloody website that you need to update and keep refreshing and blah, blah, blah. So there's nothing to stop you, like we did with Contact Presentations, is linking to a related website and just explain it that this video is about how to use ChatGPT. But if you wanted to find more about my career or other works, please visit my main website at this address. Because there's
that's another thing that I was toying with. I have my blog at yace.com.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if I should just create more content around AI and just like connect this new channel with the blog and just say, if you want to hear me talk about AI, go to this channel, and then on the channel say, if you're curious about web publishing, then you can go visit my blog.
Do you want to put that in the chat, and I'll just quickly run that through SEMrush?
Sure. Though hold on, chat. I don't go after search traffic with this particular site.
Okay.
This was like my calling card. It was a great, it still is really, really good for networking. So
did you want to post me one of your domains that I can have a look at?
I'm sure you can take a look at the cat site. Although it is kind of a unique website because 90% of the traffic on that site is user-generated content.
Right, okay.
We have very, very large forums, but there is an article section where
let's have a little look. Tuxedo Cat, look at that. Position number 1 for 8-week-old long-haired kitten. Is that the one? Is that the subject matter that we're talking about?
It's actually because it's user generated. And what happened on the last update was that Google pushed the forums content up and the articles down. So these are just threads on our forums by users. I have very little control over those.
Yeah.
But Google likes it.
I do have one giant article on my website that I published first in 2011 on YouTube optimization and video optimization. And it's handy because for SEO, I can keep updating it whenever there's a brand new news or feature or something coming out. So this one does rank on its own in Google for YouTube video. My particular path, I like to describe myself as an on-page optimizer. I know certain technical elements and I know certain off-page, but my specialism lies in on-page. And I used to say, I'm just an on-page SEO. And somebody gave me a really good telling off 3 weeks ago and said, you are very good at what you do. Stop saying that you are just a. So to add to that, the string to my bow is now I am pushing video SEO, because I have found, like you found with ChatGPT, nobody knows about it. Nobody knows. And I've now become kind of the authority in video SEO in the SEO community, just because I had an interest in it. Like I've got cat videos on my channels.
Yeah.
So I can
yeah, I do. I think it's a great niche to sort of specialize in.
So just to clarify,
and I'm a great believer in on-page SEO, by the way. We don't do any link building to any of the sites.
No, I don't.
We just focus on getting content on the page that we think works well for users. And Google really rewarded that up until this year. And especially the last update. So some of our sites went down, some of them actually are fine. And they all have the same type of content, which is what sort of pisses me off, because, make up your mind. Is my content, do you think it's good or isn't it? Because it's the same team of people creating the same type of content, the same, like you're sending me mixed signals. And I'm sort of in a unique position because we have a portfolio with over 20 websites. So I can see a lot of the data, Google Search Console. They're all informational websites. They're all the same kind of style of websites. Why are you saying some are good, some are not? Something is off here. Like,
I was just going to say, so after those 20, what's the split between the drop and then the stability?
I would say half of them dropped by 30 to 50%, which is a huge hit for us. The other half either remained stable or increased by about 20%.
Oh, right. Okay.
But unfortunately, the bigger sites were the ones that got hurt. So I do suspect that there is, first of all, I think it's very, very difficult to reverse engineer the whole thing, because we are competing over informational queries, and so many other sites have been hit that I think sometimes that may be the thing that's happening. So other sites were, more severely hit than our sites, and so our sites relatively went up, but they did not really go up. It's not an indication of quality signal that Google is getting from those sites, but more that our competitors in that niche probably had worse pages, or pages that Google liked even less than ours.
I've got a question about these sites in particular. Can we just imagine one and call it the blue widget site? If I ask questions now, you can just choose one in your head and then give me the same answer. Is there a static homepage with static text, or is it a blog roll?
It's a mix. It's a mix on most sites. Well, some of them have, but I can tell you that was not a factor that correlated with the ups and downs. So we've had sites with fixed content that got hit, and sites with fixed content that did not, and also blog roll sites that did very well, and blog roll sites that were hit.
Good. How often?
I call it the no rhyme, no reason update.
I'm interested in the age factor. How old are these domains?
So the domains that were hit were the ones, well, some of them, again, no rhyme, no reason. We've had sites from 2018 that were hit severely, and sites from 2018 that did well. The only thing that I think, and again, now this is sort of narrows down the sample size, so I can't say with any certainty, but I did notice that sites that were getting traffic from Facebook,
Yeah.
not Pinterest, but Facebook specifically, fared better. So they were not hurt, they even increased a little bit. And I sort of wonder whether because Pinterest is indexed, right? It's scrolled and it's indexed. The pins themselves are indexed on Google, and sometimes we see updates when the pins shoot up, and then you can actually see your pin rank above your page, which is also stupid, but it happens. Whereas Facebook is not crawled or indexed. So Google does not show you Facebook posts in search results, but it does show you pins. And I wonder if somehow Facebook manages to remain this kind of black box to Google. And so Google takes this traffic maybe more seriously, but it's just a guess, it's just based on a handful of sites where I saw this.
Yeah. I think the correlation between that and, I mean, Pinterest is kind of a social media, I think, but it's not ultimately a social media that I classify it. And I know that on Twitter, on X, I join a lot of spaces and I talk a lot of bullshit at night with other people around the world. And a lot of people have said that their reach has dropped dramatically from what they used to work with their regular content or whatever they were publishing and this, that, there's so many people that are moaning now and saying that the reach, and I don't know whether that is a result if the external traffic isn't finding Twitter to come onto Twitter, maybe from people that aren't registered or have a profile. Maybe, the Twitter's obviously going to get traffic from all sources. That could be a relevance factor. But the reason I asked about the domain age is that, do you go back and repurpose blogs from 2018 and then redate them and add new information?
We tried that. We tried a lot of ways to update content with and without updating the date. We haven't seen anything that significantly moved the needle either way. Like, you can change the date, you don't have to change the date. It never really mattered. We did not have a lot of success with updating content over the years, and we carried out these pretty extensive experiments, but we're doing it again now, and we'll see how that goes.
I was in a very interesting space only a few days ago with two guys from an agency. Both of them I admire because I'm just an on-page SEO. I really admire these two chaps. And I brought up the subject about repurposing old blogs, which has always worked well for me because I don't just redate them. And I said, in terms of percentage of new content, can you help me understand, if I had 1,000 words on, what do you think the update would be? And one agency owner said, at least 10%. And then the other one said, not as much as 20%, but I'd say 15%. So what I've just done today is take an old 2020 Shopify e-commerce SEO case study, and I've generated, I can write for England or talk for days. And I thought, well, I'll do about 200 words, and I think it's ended up at 400 words. So I've got really good aspirations for this, for the search term Shopify SEO case study as well. So it might be work. And the other thing that I do that has always worked for me is have two blogs that say the same thing. And to avoid cannibalization is to choose one of the URLs, choose the oldest. The second one is that you then copy and paste that into the first one. So it's skyscraper. And then on the top, that's where you write your 15% of brand new content. 301, the older blog, to the new one, and then redate the new one. So the 301 will pass the internal link juice to it, and you will just go boom. I optimized 13 pages, 5 of which were repurposed blogs where I've merged 2, 301'd it, redated it, and in a 500-page website in 6 weeks, they blasted through organic, like from nowhere.
That's interesting, especially now where they say that Google has this site-wide classifier, and what we're testing is the indexing pages.
Yeah.
I took one of our smaller sites. It was hit, but it's still getting traffic. It wasn't wiped off, but some of the pages were really badly hit, and then others were not. So what we're doing is we are like every 3 days we go in there and we either index or unpublished, depending on whether the page gets traffic from another source. But trying to say, okay, if Google really doesn't like these pages, let's make them disappear completely, and would that change like the site-wide classifier? And it's interesting what you're doing, I think, in that context, because maybe we can take those pages, take the content of the pages, and then create a new page and redirect from the old page to the new page, and make some changes, maybe work on that page to optimize it a little bit more, but then see if Google really likes the new page more. That's going to be an interesting experiment to add on top of. I'll probably give it another week or two just to see what happens just from the indexing, because I'm curious. But I may take a different site. That's another benefit of having a large portfolio. Like I have subjects.
That's cool. I've got no negatives with that at all. For me, that's exactly more or less the system that I do, the methodology. And as for the indexing, if these blogs don't have any backlinks to them and they aren't getting any views because they're not organically ranking in SERPs in the first place, Google can't index everything at the minute because the internet's grown so much. I mean, even in the last 5 years, so just exponentially. So the crawl rate, let me just share you one moment again. So going back to this one, this will be tiling logistics. I'll just move you over there. Where have you gone? There's your face. So discover traffic has increased. Now this is, do you know discover traffic in Search Console? So this is where I haven't had time to test this myself, but this is about, a lot of people are talking about the Pinterest. One guy I know says that he uploads 40 pins a day, which is a lot of work, but he gets an incredible amount of traffic.
It's not that difficult. I think we probably upload 100 a day at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. You have tools today that do everything. The description is AI generated and the images are templated. So it's like, I have a VA that does this for several sites right now, just to see what happens. And Pinterest seems to like it. So
there you go. So we've got, this is a tiling place. 950 indexed, 3.42 thousand not indexed.
So that's never an issue for us. Our sites get indexed like within, a new page gets indexed probably within the hour. Without submitting for indexing. Google Apps eating up our sites. So which is actually making me hopeful, because I'm thinking if you still like the site enough to index so frequently, then maybe crawl and index so frequently, then I hope there's hope to recover that lost traffic.
I think there's always hope. So
never a dull moment.
I love my job.
I know, I do too. I'm addicted.
Addicted is the right word. It is. I enjoy bubble baths, you see. So I had a nice soak in the bath yesterday, and I took in an SEO podcast that had just been released yesterday. So I can even, it's not, I don't call it work. It's not work. I'm learning new stuff, and that's going to benefit my customers, but that's not my end goal. I am just insanely curious. I do not want to be left behind here. I do not want to be that person that goes, oh yeah, I heard about that new tool back in 2023 and I never bothered. At least, I can try something at least once. So
I came, my husband has joined me in the business during COVID, where he couldn't go to the office, and he joined me. And fortunately, he takes care of all the boring stuff like taxes and
That's
you
my
know.
husband. Yeah,
Okay, great. Yeah. So
I
I'm
call
telling
him
you,
the
and I
accountant.
right. So he keeps like sometimes he's worried about the income, and I'm like, I don't really care because I'm not doing this for the money. I don't think you can do this strictly for the money. You have to
Yeah,
enjoy this like, as a game. Otherwise, you just want to stick around.
it is. And I think to speak to people across the pond is incredible. Like I
Yeah.
have been looking, as I said, I've been looking forward to this all day. So can I persuade you just to create a channel, because you're not going to get discovered if you don't have any videos anyway, and you can put it on the back burner. Do you want to share
Oh,
your
I
screen?
know. I should, and I have. It's a topic that like I'm sort of passionate about, and I really want to do this. Um, I just need to get a break from Google for a little bit. Right now, I'm busy with all of these experiments. Right, I'm running the experiments. I also have an experiment on Google Discover, and I have like multiple
Uh,
things, and our team takes care of some things. But then, when it's really you really want to break through and understand something, you have to do it yourself. You can't
yeah,
delegate before you figure it out properly. So that's the way that's how I work anyway. So I'm like super busy with these things. I'm enjoying them. They're fascinating, but not enough hours in the day. I think I'm probably up to 60, 70 hours of work per week again now, which is not good. It's not
no,
healthy.
in August, I the client I was talking about, the repurposing blogs of a few minutes ago, I took on too much work deliberately because I'm, as a sole trader in lockdown, I wasn't going anywhere anyway. And I was doing like pushing 100 hours a week, which was absolutely fine. I was getting paid 4 times the amount that I was getting. My client rate increased 300%. And I was making lots of money, and I was having fun, and I was getting great feedback and great Google results, and I'm great, And I thought, I'm not going to do that again. And in July, I took on this job, and I quoted an insane amount of hours, and I at the top rate, never actually thinking that the client would accept the rate, and he did. So I pulled 100 hours a week in August, and I was just like, never again.
Right. It takes a toll for sure.
No, I think you've inspired me though. I think what I will do is update my video SEO page with a video of me like I'm doing now, and I can just use a
Yeah.
throwaway email, and I can create a YouTube channel. And then that will provide a step-by-step thing. Then I can do the transcript. Then I can fill in all of my
Sure.
gubbins
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make
And
it
send
right.
me the link. I'd love to share that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
you've just given me homework. I thought I was supposed to be giving you homework.
Yes, you have. Okay, thank you so much, Nina. Thank you. That was
It's
very
great.
helpful, and it
I've
was
got
fun getting to know you.
it is. I will upload the video. Let me just stop recording.